Okay, so this is part one of a two-part video series on my RC collection as of this recording. I got a request to do this recently, so I figured it would be kind of neat to walk through at least most of my collection, not absolutely everything. So the reason why it's two parts is because my collection is in two places. So this room here, everything you see here, and this over here, this is in my office. Okay, this is where I do my work, and also where I have my shelf queens, the cars that I have just for display. I keep them up here. And then in my basement, my workshop where I make most of my videos, that's where I build my display models, and it's also where I store my runners, all the cars that I race with. Okay, so up here is just the display cars. You can see I also have other things, a lot of racing memorabilia, a lot of Senna stuff. I'm a big Senna fan. So let's start here in this section with the Tamiya stuff. And by the way, I generally tend to organize things by brand, not entirely, but generally. So I have a lot of Tamiya Avantes and Egress type of chassis. So this is a Tamiya Avante 2011 Black Special. One of the first build series I did on this channel, this was maybe 9 years ago, was on this car. And this is an original Tamiya Egress that I picked up shortly after I got this. And I made several modifications to that. I don't think I made a build series of that, but kind of a neat car. This is the Tamiya Avante. This is an original Avante I picked up from a friend of mine, and it has a couple of 2011 parts that I needed to use in order to restore it, but otherwise it's substantially an original Avante. This is an Avante 2001 that I I think I did a build series on this one. I called it my White Special because that's the Black Special. This is the White Special. Basically, I just added a lot of Pargu aluminum parts, upper deck, lower deck, shock towers, and a couple of other things to that, like these nice aluminum rims, for example. And also down here, I have some more Avante slash Egress chassis. So this is an Avante 2001 with carbon fiber upper and lower deck. So the original owner for this put a little bit of extra money into it. And this one here, I bought it, or it was advertised as a Tamiya Vanquish, even though it's most certainly not. It has carbon fiber upper and lower deck and upgraded shocks and all the rest of it. Basically, this is more like an Egress, but it does have gear differentials for some reason. So maybe the person actually did buy a Vanquish and then just put a boatload of money into, making it look like an Egress. So these, even though they're not on a shelf, I figured, maybe I might make them a runner one day for my kid to play with. I don't know. The thing with the Avante and Egress series is that, they look really nice, but they don't drive very well. And, I picked up most of these kind of before I really understood that. When you're a kid in the early 90s and you look in, these beautiful Tamiya catalogs that have these beautiful pictures of the Egress and the Avante, you think, oh, wow, I got to have that car. And then when you get older and you buy them and you go racing with them, you realize that they're actually not that good on the track. But they're still aesthetically pleasing and they're kind of fun to build and play around with. So, despite knowing that, I still at least used to enjoy collecting them. And I have here another Avante. This is an Avante 2001, an original one with the white rims. These are very hard to find, white rims. This is a Tamiya Dynastorm. This over here is an original Tamiya Top Force. This is a Top Force, but it's really a conversion. It was originally a TA02 truck, a Chevy S10 truck that I got when I was a kid, and I converted it to a Top Force over time. So of all of these cars here, these two down here and all of these up here, these four here are ones that I built myself completely or tore down and completely rebuilt. And this one as well. All the rest, I got them, pretty much as they are. Coming over here, I have some of my Yokomo stuff. So this is a 94 YZ10. This is a 92 Works YZ10. This is a 93 Works YZ10. This is an 870C that I did some, essentially a Works-like conversion on it. I put Works Delrin arms, Delrin or nylon, front and rear arms on them. I also did a hex wheel conversion on this. I made a video about this one, how to do the hex conversion. Some of the other Yokomo stuff, I have another YZ, it's a 97 YZ10, this is a 95 YZ10, so what do we have? 870, 92, 93, 94, 95, 97 YZ10, all here on the shelf. These two down here, this is a Tekin mid-motor RC10. I made a build series on this a while back. This is basically a normal RC10. I just put an RC10T front nose on it, so you get a longer front end with the wider suspension. So these are Dynatech Klein suspension arms. I did a whole build series on this as well as this. And this might look familiar to you guys because the picture of this is the picture to my YouTube channel. So I still have this. I haven't sold it yet. And then coming back over here, I have some of my Kyosho stuff. This is a Kyosho Pro X. I have a couple of these. This one is in brand new condition, so I keep that on the shelf. This is a Kyosho Pro X RT. This is the stadium truck version of the Pro X. I don't have a body for this specific one. The bodies are rather hard to find, but I don't really mind. I mean, it looks really nice with the open chassis. You know, just like, for example, this 95 YZ10. I picked this up from a friend in Australia, and I, tore it down, completely rebuilt it, and it came with a body, but I have the body downstairs, and sometimes I just like to, display these as they are, sort of naked, as it were, because these really do look nice, on the inside. This is one of my Kyosho lasers. I got a couple of these. I bought this as a ZX, and I converted it to a ZXR. I did a build series on this about maybe 7 years ago, something like that, 6, 7 years ago. Up here, we have a Kyosho Triumph. I have two of these. This particular one, I would like to try running it one day. We'll see. I do say that about a lot of cars I have that aren't runners yet. Because I would like to have the experience of at least trying to drive certain cars, even though I haven't driven them yet. So maybe I'll make this one a runner. We'll see. Over here we have a Schumacher Cat 2000 EC, and this here is a Traxxas TRX3. I have a couple of these. The other one is over here. I put this on my desk because my son likes to play with that one sometimes. And then down here we have another Yokomo. This is a 93 Works. Not entirely a 93 Works. It has like the YR4 nylon bulkheads and some other kind of substitute parts here. Because I took parts from this to do another build on another 93 Works. But you could say it's substantially a 93 Works. And my son he used to like to play with this a lot when he was a baby. So I just... I picked a few cars out for him to play with so that, he can, if he was going to break anything, I'd rather he break that than some of the nicer stuff on the shelf. And also to give him some, appreciation of what these things are. Up here I have, that's a new in box, Tamiya Egress, the 2013 re-release. Way high up on the shelf here, you can't really, it's hard to store cars up there because if they're that high up, you can't really see much. So I'd rather put something up there that has nice visuals, like the Tamiya box arts are really beautiful. So, I'd like to put those up there, like this Avante 2011. This is an empty box. This is from the original Avante 2011 I used to own. And then behind that, I have a box for the Black Special. And then over here, I do like static models. As a kid, I used to build static model cars before I got into RC. So I have a collection of Tamiya McLaren Formula 1 kits. So the 1/12 scale MP46, This particular one is the original from, what, 1991 or 92, sealed in package, brand new. And then behind that, you can't really see it, is the re-release version that came out, maybe like 20 years later or something. Also sealed in package, brand new. And I have some other static models here. So these are my Mini Champs McLaren F1 cars in the Senna livery with the full Marlboro livery on there as well. And, since I really love McLaren, I also have other McLaren stuff here. A lot of McLaren F1 stuff. I'm a big fan of the McLaren F1. Some F1 LMs here. Some F1 GTRs, Longtails, road cars, Hot Wheels McLaren F1, and some Tamiya Masterwork Nissan Skylines. Those are kind of neat. Pagani Zondas. This is the Gran Turismo 5 Nissan Skyline. Up here I have some more McLaren MP4-4s. These I bought as extra because one day I'd like to actually get back into building static model cars. This is a detail kit for these, so anybody who knows anything about building these know that these Top Studio detail kits are really highly sought after. So, it's more like a collector's item, but maybe one day I might, use that if I decide to build this again. And I do have elsewhere the full collection of the Tamiya McLarens, the 1/20th scale, so like the MP4-4, the 5, the 4, the 5, the 7, and the 8. They came in 1/20th scale. And then the 6 came in 1/12th scale. So I have all of those, original and re-release, because I'm kind of a maniac like that. I have some Yokomo parts up there and MIP parts. And then up here we have some of my Tekin RC10 mid-motor kits. So back here I have two sealed in package, new in box buggy conversions. And then this here is a truck conversion, which is not sealed, but it does have all the parts in it and everything, so it's new. Let's see, and then over on this side here, this cabinet has, let's say, what I consider to be my more valuable kits, or the ones that I want to protect from dust more than the other stuff. And sometimes I go back and forth a little bit between some of the things that are in here and some of the things that are on the shelf. So like, for instance, I would like to be able to store in another cabinet maybe these two RC10s and this 93 Works here, because this is brand new. All I had to do was clean it up, but it's brand new. And I put a lot of time and money into, especially this one. It would be nice to, store those in a dust-free environment. But right now I only have enough space for, all these cars here. And even with this cabinet, I had to actually buy an extra glass shelf to fit another row of cars in. So let's walk through this. In the boxes, at the very tippy top, that's a new in box Kyosho Pro X prototype kit. I got that from Japan. I made a video about that recently. This here is the Kyosho Triumph. That's the other Triumph that I have. It's not new in box. It came with the box, and it is built. It's just stored in the box. Same thing, same situation with this here, Traxxas TCP, basically a better version of the TRX3. Came with the box. It is built. It's not new in box, but it is built and in new condition. Over here is a new in box Losi XX4. It's the only Losi I have in my collection right now. Interestingly enough, here I have, in this box, I have just Yokomo stuff, but in a 94 YZ10 box. This here is a new in box 94 YZ10. On this side here, there's some more Yokomo stuff in here, and it Works 91 box. This is a new in box Works 93. This is a new in box Works 91. So I have three Yokomo YZ10s that are brand new in box. Pretty hard to find, and I got really lucky on all of them. So I'm rather grateful for that. And then here I have mostly Yokomos, but a few other things. So at the top, this here is a 95 YZ10. that I made a few extra modifications to. So these white Delaware nylon front arms and rear arms all around. These are from Dynatech Racing. I had them reproduce some arms for me a long time ago. And some other aluminum bits and MIP CVDs and some kind of rare parts on there. There's a 94 YZ10, mostly original, just with Suzuki hubs, and I think I put a TCS unit in there, but otherwise it's brand new. This here is a 93 Works, completely brand new. All I really did was just paint the body and do the wing, and that's it. This is a 91 Works. This is my only Works 91 other than the new in box that's up there. I did a special build on this. I made a video on this one a while back. These here are the miniature versions of the Tamiya Avante, all the different types. You can buy like mini grasshoppers and mini hornets and mini hotshots, I think. I like how the Avante looks, so I got a couple of those here. And then down here we have Kyosho Laser ZXR. This one I did not build. This came as is, but I saw it on eBay and I thought it looked amazing. And whoever built it did a fantastic job. So I'm very grateful that I won the auction on that one. There's another laser. I built this one myself. I just did this recently. And down here, these are perhaps two of my more well-known kits or builds. So this here is an MIP SP2 four-wheel drive conversion for the RC10. And then this is an MIP 410 Legend four-wheel drive conversion. And this is an unconventional build on that 410 Legend. So these are significant to me because, I did put a lot of time and certainly money into them. But I rather enjoyed doing these specific builds, and the SP2 kit in particular, I actually got that kit from a subscriber to this channel years ago he said he really liked my stuff, and he wanted to send me some parts to help me with this build here. So I'm like, okay, sure, and he just sent it to me at no charge, and it was an entire SP2 kit, and I was really grateful for that. So, I basically got that for free. That was awesome. So I didn't want to disappoint or dishonor that generous donation. So I wanted to do a really nice build. And when I brought these to the concourse event at the Vintage Off-Road Nationals, this was in 2015. At the time, up to that point, the concourse event had three classes. They had best paint, most authentic, and best in show. And that year, Jason Verona was the guest judge for the concourse event, and he really liked these builds, but they didn't fit into any of those three classifications. So they made an entirely new class called Best Build, and I won that class that year. And I also won Best Build in another year with one of my other cars. So I'm rather proud of the fact that these cars were so good that they inspired the creation of an entirely new classification for the concourse event at the Vintage Off-Road Nationals, and it's all because of these two cars. So that's 2 thumbs up right there. Down here we have Yokomo 870. This one is, I would say, not particularly special. It's just really clean. It has all the RPM parts, the RPM bulkheads, the arms, the hub carriers, all the rest of it, and the JG front and rear shock towers, and it just looks kind of cool. I store it in here because I just don't want it to get dusty, but really that 93 Works that's up there is probably more worthy of this space here. There's another 93 Works that did a custom build on with all G10 fiberglass parts, and it's kind of a white theme with the white arms and the white wheels and the white wing. I believe I did a build series on that, all with nice, blue aluminum screws and everything. So that was kind of a neat build. This here is a 97 YZ10. I bought it as a 95, and I got some reproduction 97 towers and upper deck pieces, so I converted that to a 97. This is a 94 YZ10 that I bought. This was actually a rather expensive one. but it's brand new, never been run, and I added some other aftermarket parts to this one. Beautiful car. This here is another 92 Works YZ10. I think I did a build series on this, not 100% sure. And then over here, this is a Yokomo 870C. This one I wanted to do is kind of like an original 870 build to keep it as faithful as possible to what the car would have looked like at that time. So like the RCPS, you know, steering brace, the Jam and J upper deck, you know, the old style Lunsford titanium turnbuckles. You know, I really wanted that to have more of an old school look, the associated gold shocks, all the rest of it. So that one definitely is going to stay in there. So among all of these in this cabinet, the ones that I built myself would be this one here, that one there, those two, these two, and these two down here. The rest of them, I got them as they are, and I, you know, maybe took them apart a little bit and made some changes. And then as for the ones on the shelf here, the ones that I built myself personally, or at least tore down completely and rebuilt, would be the Pro XRT, the Laser, that YZ10, that one, TRX3, these two, this one, those two. So most of these. But, you know, occasionally, like, I'll get something that's just really, really good, in really good condition. I don't have to do anything to it. I just put it on the shelf. So anyway, that pretty much covers the collection I have in my office, at least for what I have right now. And then I'm going to do another video on what I have in my basement. So thanks for watching.